All right, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, the season hasn't gone the way anyone had hoped for, but for a while now, we've been, and as well as the rest of Raider Nation, I know you guys have been focusing on the future and what the Raiders are going to do this offseason. And there are some reports circulating. We've got a little bit of evidence about a massive move, big time trade potentially coming this offseason for the Raiders. Would be a seismic shift. Exciting news out of Las Vegas. I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, this Raiders team, obviously, they got some talent. They got some feisty guys. I love what they have on the offensive line, the defensive line. We've done some great film reviews on some of their young guys. Obviously, they got some good veterans as well. But the biggest question mark in terms of the players on the field is the quarterback position. Obviously, what are the Raiders going to do there? Are they going to be in a position to draft one of the best quarterbacks? Are they going to go and try and maybe make a trade for a guy who already is in the NFL? And it's that second option where rumors are really starting to percolate. Let's pull up this report courtesy of Athlon Sports. Adam Schefter of ESPN reported on Wednesday, January 1st, that the Minnesota Vikings will receive inquiries on a trade for rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy, the number 10 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. In a limited quarterback draft class where there are far more teams that need quarterbacks than quarterbacks who actually can step in right away, I definitely think teams will be checking in with the Vikings to see if they have any interest in trading J.J. McCarthy. Schefter told his ESPN colleague Courtney Cronin. Cronin mentioned the Raiders as the first of potential suitors for McCarthy, given the team's need under center and the fact that Las Vegas now owns the 8th pick in the first round of the upcoming NFL draft. Obviously, at number 8, you're probably not getting Shadir Sanders. You're probably not getting Cam Ward. After that, it is a steep drop off. Is there the reality of the Raiders making a trade for a guy like McCarthy with the number 8 overall pick? There seems to be some rumors around that and some momentum potentially behind that. Miles, I know you've got a few thoughts on that. But first, Raider Nation in the comment section below, give us your thoughts on what the Raiders should do here. Should they acquire via trade a potential quarterback? Should they try and stick to whoever comes and falls to them at number 8 or wherever they end up? What do you think the Raiders should do here at this position when it comes to the quarterback? Let us know in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this latest news out of Las Vegas?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is a really interesting update for the Raiders as far as the quarterback position goes, because like you said, in the article, they stated they're now holders of the 8th overall pick, not getting a top tier quarterback at the 8th. It's a double-edged sword. You kind of F around a little bit, win some games, drop in your placing in the draft, but also you see, like you said, the feistiness, competitiveness out of the players. So what do you want to do? Do you want to win the games? Do you want to get the draft pick? But maybe there's a best of both worlds here. Maybe we see the competitive juices flowing. Antonio Pierce is getting that late season magic with this team, but also there's a potential quarterback option on the table, and that was JJ McCarthy. I think it's really interesting because when you look at a guy like JJ McCarthy, he brings a lot of really good stuff with him. He's a young guy. He's younger than both Shador Sanders and Cam Ward. He's got that pedigree of championship. He knows how to go out there and win. He's battled at Michigan. He battled Caden McNamara for that starting position at Michigan, wins the starting job, goes out, performs really good, wins the national championship. Absolutely excellent player. He's checked all of the boxes as far as that goes. Very dynamic player. But I think the thing is, you haven't seen him at the NFL level a whole lot yet, or at least not very many people, in fact, have seen him at the NFL level up close and in person. In fact, only one team in all of the NFL has seen him up close and personal, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders in week 1 of the preseason when he played a substantial amount of snaps against the Las Vegas Raiders. He went for 11 completions, 11 of 17 for 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception, great 81.6 PFF grade for him, 84 passing grade. So they've seen what J.J. McCarthy can do on the field. Not saying that's the end all be all, but when you go and want to go trade for a player, you at least want to have some idea of who you're getting in that trade. And I think the fact that the Raiders have already seen him up close and personal in game, I think that gives them a little bit of an edge. They know what they're dealing with. They've seen him before. They know what kind of guy JJ McCarthy is on the field. So I thought that gave you a little bit added insight here, just seeing that the Raiders themselves being first on that list, there's some merit to it because they're the only team in the NFL that has seen him up close and personal in real game time play. This is great news for the Raiders, and I think as we see the thing develop, they could very well be in the running top of the running actually to get JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, and let's first address the fact the Raiders winning a few games here kind of slid them out of the contention for the number one overall pick. The reality is, I say this all the time. People say, well, you want to tank to get the first pick, the better pick. It doesn't always work out in your favor. If you go back even to last year and how all that draft situation shaked out, the Bears ended up with Caleb Williams. Honestly, if you look at the 2 and 3 picks, Jane Daniels and Drake May, they've looked better than Williams. In fact, Bo Nix has looked better than Caleb Williams. Nothing against Caleb Williams, but the reality is, long term and even short term, you don't even know how this is all going to shake out, right? So the idea of, oh, this is just a waste. We won a couple games at the end of the year. Now we don't get the number one overall pick. I would let that slide. There's really no indication unless you have a generational guy like a Peyton Manning or an Andrew Luck. Those happen once every 15, 20 years. There's really no value, in my opinion, between being the number one overall pick versus the number 10 overall pick. The most important thing is to get good players. And I think the Raiders have an opportunity here to get what I think is a pretty good prospect in JJ McCarthy. I think McCarthy is simple number 8 for him. I think that's a fair trade. I think everyone takes it. And I think it makes a lot of sense for both sides. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Minnesota Vikings are leaking. I think they're deliberately doing this. Adam Schefter is known for kind of leaking what front offices are trying to do, leaking, hey, we want to trade McCarthy. We'll listen to calls. And I think that's why a lot of people look at a team like the Raiders as a logical fit. It makes perfect sense. McCarthy has all the physical tools. He's got the mobility. He's got kind of a scrappiness to him that he showed at Michigan that fits what Antonio Pierce is trying to do. I think they've been looking for a more mobile guy. If you look at the guys they've had behind center for the last 3-4 years or so, it's really been a lot of statues. I think McCarthy brings another element. And again, there's a lot of speculation here, a lot of rumors trying to figure out how all this is going to shake out. But I think right now, this is actually the best move for the Raiders. I think the prize of the draft is Shedeur Sanders. I'm not a big Cam Ward guy, but if you're not going to get Shedeur Sanders, which at number 8 or even at number like 5, you're not going to get him, let's be totally honest. The next best thing in terms of quarterback is JJ McCarthy, trading your pick for him. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I wouldn't be surprised when it's all said and done if the Raiders end up pulling this off.